Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. You were able to catch me. I just had a last minute cancellation, so I'm able to come on in here for real quick of a time. So what I do here is I break down math sample questions for the GED, the ASVAB, the Accuplacer, the TEAS test, the ACT, the SAT. Sometimes anything from A to Z. That if that has to deal with algebra, this is the place for you. So all we are basically doing is we're taking some of these math concepts. Let's see what you remember. Let's see what you have to remember in order for you to pass that exam. So let's look at this example right here. So the right cone shown below has a base with a radius of 6 and 4/10 centimeters. To the nearest cubic centimeter, what is the volume of the cone? And they want you to use 3.14 for your pi. Is your answer A, 40, B, 81, C, 129, or D, 514? So all you have to do is just maybe do some work on the little piece of paper, whatever you guys got scrap around, and then see what you can come up with. Okay, what can you calculate? Now, as a reminder, as you're doing that, you got to remember that if you're doing the GED, the ASVAB, or the Accuplacer, you cannot use a calculator. All right, so you're going to have to remember to do some of these things manually. I know it's so funny that, the exams that you're using so you can get your high school equivalency or raise up in the rankings, you can't use a calculator for, right? SAT, you can. Praxis, you can. HESI, you can as well. So let's see who's here. Let's see what we have here. So again, we really just want to find the volume of the cone. Now, if you're just like, Audrey, I don't remember what volume was. I know there's a formula, but I can't remember it. You can put a question mark in the comments. That's perfectly fine. I'd rather you do that than just be like, all right, we're waiting for you to do it. And I'm going to end up doing it anyway. See, there we go. There we go. Tall glass. Yes, there we go. We got food. Yes, user. Yes, Raphael. Appreciate that. All right. Look, a whole series of question marks. And that's perfectly fine, guys. All right. So we know it kind of looks like a snow cone holder. All right. So since we want to know the volume, okay, volume is how much space is actually being filled up in our shape. So the easiest way to remember this is my base here is a circle. So it reminds me if I did an extension of this, coming on down, and doing like a mini circle. What I just got here is now a cylinder. So if you can remember the formula for a cylinder, so since we're looking at volume, the formula of a cylinder is the area of the base times your height. Now the area of your base is a circle, so that's going to be your pi r squared times your height. So that's the area of a cylinder. Now, we're looking at it as a cone. A cone takes 1/3 of a cylinder. So if you know the volume of a cylinder, all you have to do is just to substitute the right information and divide by 3. Very similar to if you're looking for a pyramid. If you know the volume of a rectangular prism, take that, divide by 3. So now they're saying that they want us to use 3.14 or 3 and 14/100ths in place of pi. So I'm going to put that over here. They told us what our radius is, and our radius is 6.4. And they want us to square that. And they're giving us the height, and that's inside of our figure, which is 12. And all of that is being divided by 3. Okay? So you're probably saying, well, Audrey, how am I going to do this without a calculator? You can. Nice and simple steps. So one of the things that you could do is this 12. All of this stuff happening in the numerator is multiplication. So let me actually do this. Okay? Right now, I can get it out of or get rid of this denominator. I can simply take this 12 divided by 3. If I take that 12 divided by 3, that's going to give me a whole number of 4. So now the only thing I have up here is 3.14 times the squared of 6.4 times 4. All right. So if we take a look, let's break this down. And I'm going to use my piece of paper right here. So if we have our 3.14, let's multiply that bad boy by the 4 that we got from dividing the 12 and the 3. So 4 times 4 gives me 16, carry the 1. 4 times 1 gives me 4, plus 1 gives me 5. And 4 times 3, that gives me my 12. Since this has 2 decimal places, and this one has 0 decimal places, my answer should be 2 decimal place. The way to figure that, you add the decimal places. That's how many decimal places should be down here. So since I have 2, that'll be 1, 2. So I have 12.56. Now, we need to figure out what 6.4 squared is. Now, I'm going to tell you. When you multiply your 6.4, you're not multiplying it by 2. You're multiplying it to itself. When it's raised to the second power, that means your base, which was the 6.4, is being multiplied to itself 2 times. So we need to figure out. We have our 4 and 4, that gives us our 16, carry the 1. 6 times 4 gives me 24, plus 1 is 25. 6 times 4 is 24. That 4 is now going in the 10th spot, carrying the 2. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 2 gives me 38. So now, let's bring down my 6. 5 plus 4 gives me 9. 2 and 8 gives me 10, carry the 1. 1 and 3 gives me 4. So this 1 decimal place, this is 1 decimal place. That means my answer should be 2 decimal places. So 1, 2, that gives me my 40.96. But guess what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to multiply these two. But before we do that, let's take a look at some of our possible answers. Okay? Which ones can we eliminate? Okay, which ones can we eliminate? Just based on what we have. We know we're going to have to, sorry guys. We know we're going to have to multiply these two. Okay, which ones can we eliminate? All right, we got A. One person saying all but D. Okay, Mary B saying A, B, and C. Okay, Bad saying C, saying A. Okay, so just knowing what we got, I know if I'm multiplying, I'm not adding these two. I got to multiply them. These, just looking at the 12 and the 40, not even considering anything after the decimal place. Even if I just focus on the 12 and the 40. That's 0, that's 8, that's 0, that's 4. That's going to give me 480. Just with the whole numbers, just before the decimal point. If I multiply those two together, I'm going to get 480. So obviously, if I'm adding in or multiplying what's after the decimal point, my answer is going to get bigger. That's why your answer choice is D. Okay? It's definitely not 40. It's definitely not 81. Okay, we're not adding things together. We have to multiply. So our answer is going to be that 514. All right. All right. So if you want to round up, you can round up, and that can help you with figuring out, because that will be 41 and this will be 13. So you can do that as well. Thank you. Who said that? Flying bee? Flying bees. Thank you. All right. I know, it's like the first one. You're like, whoo, that's a lot. Well, here we go. All right. 10 artists has entered an art show. There are 3 prizes to be awarded in the art show: first prize, second prize, and third prize. How many possible ways could these prizes be awarded among the 10 artists? And we're going to put our answer in that box. So we are not given a multiple choice. Ooh, isn't this nasty? All right. Let's see what we can do. Thank you so much for liking the lives. Thank you so much for joining in the fan club. Love it. Thanks, Christy. Thank you, Ellis. All right. So again, we got 10 artists. There's 3 prizes: first, second, and third. And we want to know how many possible ways could those prizes be awarded among the 10 artists. Now, if you're not sure, remember, we got the question mark. I'm going to show you. Can see, if you were here for the first question, I will break it down for you. They're like, I think I got it, Miss Audrey. I think I do. And if you think you do, thank you, veteran, for your honesty. I appreciate that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Dragon Core. So let's see what we got. Okay, how many of you just want me to break it on down? Ooh, okay, hold on. We got the great OB is saying 720. Hey, Big G Money! Saying 30. Okay. All right, gotcha. All right, Ty from the Thrills Hills. Break it down. Okay, I got you. You might be wrong. Okay. Break it down, please. Not a problem. All right. Okay. So now, because there is order, there's a first place, a second place, and the third place. A lot of people will say, oh, this is certain combinations, because when they say how many possible ways, you're thinking of certain combinations, and you usually just multiply the numbers. But here's the thing, there is order. So it's not going to be combination, it's going to be permutation. Okay, so there are 10 artists. Let's put it this way. So once that prize is taken away, then we have another option, and there's only 9 people that can do it. Once that prize is gone, we got another option. Okay, so the reason why I'm starting with 10, because remember, there's 10 artists. And that means once first prize is already claimed, well, you know, they do it in reverse, right? So once the third prize is already claimed, okay, that means we're not talking about 10 artists. Now we're talking about 9 artists going after the second prize. Second prize is already claimed. Okay, now we're not talking about 9 artists. Now we're talking about 8 artists. So we got 8 people fighting to the death for first prize, right? It's like, but we're not adding them together. We are doing what's called multiplying. Okay, because there's so many different options. Remember, there used to be like a factor tree, which I am not. I'm lazy. I'm not doing that. So that means I'm going to have artist 1, and how many chances can it get? First place, second place, third place. Then artist 2, first place, second place, third place. Artist 3, no. Whoa, no. So it's just best for us to take how many artists we got, then we descend it. This will be for first, how many options for second, how many options for third. So if we multiply this, I know that 8 times 9 gives me 72, and 72 times 10 will give me my 720. So that's how many possible ways the prize can be awarded amongst 10 artists. All right, look at all those 720s. Look at that. All right. Okay. Awesome. You remember now? I know. It just takes a little time. But it comes back. All right. I don't know if it's like riding a bike, but it's up there. Okay, let's do a couple more in us before we skedaddle. All right, so factor. We're going to factor 2p squared minus 9p plus 10. When you factor it, is your answer A, 2p minus 5 times p minus 2? Is it B, p minus 5 times p minus 2? Is it C, p minus 4 times p plus 10? Or is it D, p minus 1 times p plus 2? Ooh. Hello, Michael. Okay, you remember these? Okay. And just like anything else, if you're looking, you're like, I don't know this. I was never taught this. I understand. I'm going to break it down. Okay. So the key part of factoring is knowing your multiplications as well as those integers, those signs. Okay, so I got some A's. Hey, Sammy, got my C, Dragon C, Kim A, Jacob D, Ty D, Michael, hi, Darren A, Angela. Always get confused on these. All right, I got you. Okay, Andy with an A for an answer, not just in your name. Tyler with an A. Is it Jar Hernandez? Hello. Probably say Jer or Air. Maybe the J is silent. That's also an option. Victoria said C. Sorry about that. Veteran saying A. Robinson saying A. Okay. What grade of math is this? Well, this is to help with GED as well as the ASVAB and AccuPlacer. So it's algebra. That'll be the best part. You're going to skip it. Oh, no, Phil, you're not going to skip it. Okay. Now, anytime they say the word factor, we have to think, first off, do we have what's called a GCF, a greatest common factor? Is there a number that 2, 9, and 10 have in common? Well, the only thing they have in common is 1, so that doesn't help us. Now, do they all have a variable of p? Well, no, because 10 doesn't have a p next to it. So we do not have a GCF, okay? So now we're trying to think. The number that's in front of your p squared, we have this in what's called standard form. Okay? Your a value is what's in front of the variable squared. So our a is going to be a 2. Our b value is what's the number that's in front of the variable. Not squared, but singular. So that would be a -9. And the c value is your constant. In this case, is 10. So the way that we factor, what we do is we multiply our a and our c together, put that answer right there, and then we rewrite our b and put this answer right here. So if we multiply a times c, that's 2 times 10. So 2 times 10 gives me what? There we go, Z. Thank you. So it gives me 20. Good, Sammy. Good, Victoria. Renraw. Ooh, interesting. All right, so we got our 20. Rewriting our b, which our b is -9. So now, this is the hardest part. we need to know what two numbers multiply will give me 20 and add together to give me a -9. Okay. Okay, so Kylie's giving me -5, -4. Okay. Z's agreeing with you with -5, -4. All right. All right. So Chris was saying -4, -5. Good. So if you said you're -4, -5, because negative times a negative gives you a positive, and 4 times 5 gives you 20. So that checks out. -4 plus -5 will give me a -9. Because when the signs are the same, when you're adding them together, you're actually building and you're keeping the sign. So now this is when a lot of people do it one of two ways. They set up their parentheses, and then the two numbers that we found will go here and here. The variables that they're using are p's. So now we're not done. We're going to use the a value, and we're going to divide both of these by our a. And you're like, ooh, this is a different way. Okay. This is just another way, another little trick. So we have -4 divided by 2. That can be divided because -4 divided by 2 gives me a -2. So we got p minus 2. But if I take 5 divided by 2, I can't do that and give me a nice, sweet, even number. So what happens to this 2? It moves to the front of your p. So that parenthesis is going to be 2p minus 5. This is your answer. You're like, what? Okay, so we took the two numbers, we put them into separate parentheses using the variable of the problem, which is p's. So there's a p there, there's a p there. So where did the 2 come from? The 2 is your a from the equation. Okay, remember how we said a equals 2? We're going to divide both the -4 and the -5 of those 2's. Okay, so then -4 divided by 2, that gives me a -2. But -5 divided by 2, that can't be evenly divisible, right? It's not divisible evenly. So since you can't divide it, you're going to slide it right in front of the p. That's where this 2p minus 5 came from. I know, it's a different way, Slim, I know. Okay. All right, so it's all kinds of crazy. So my answer will be A. Okay, my answer will be A. All right. So there's learning so many different ways. All right, 31. Take a look at this one. So they want us to simplify the rational expression. Now, I know right now, I think a lot of people that has college algebra, they're starting to see rational expressions. Some of them are starting to see it this week because your examination is right around the corner. Mm-hmm. Factor to 10? No. How can you factor to 10? Because 9 is not a factor of 10. And 2 is not a factor of 10. other way around. 10 is a factor of 2. Okay. All right, well, thank you. Okay, one math lord is saying C. Andy is saying B. Sammy Boo is saying D. Okay. Okay, Z is saying C. Factor 2 out of the 2x plus 4. There we go. Mel saying C. You golf saying C. All right. Kaya. Hey, Kaya. How are you? Saying C. All right. So let's take a gander. So for my numerator, I think I have a blank piece of paper right here. So focusing on the numerator, we have 2x plus 4. So I noticed that 2 and 4, they both have 2 in common. So they do have a GCF. So when I factor out the 2, what I'm doing is dividing the original by 2. So 2x divided by 2 will simply give me 1x, or just x, plus 4 divided by 2 will give me 2. All right, so your numerator is already factored out. So if I come here, let's take a look at our denominator. Well, our denominator is one of those things called the difference of squares. So if I factor this out, my leading coefficient is a 1. So that tells me I can go ahead and split my x's. So now we have negative 4. So what two numbers multiply together will give me a negative 4 and add together to give me 0. And you're probably like, well, Audrey, where's the 0 coming from? Because just like how we did for the earlier one, I just want to slide up here for a second. We had this lovely trinomial, and we had that negative 9p in the middle, right? Whereas this time, we don't have an x in the middle. So that is going to be represented by 0. So if I factor out, or did the square root of 4, we'll get a 2 here, 2 here, 1's positive, 1's negative. Okay. So now I notice in the numerator and the denominator, they both have that x plus 2 in common. So when you have something divided by itself, it always equals 1. And we know 1 times anything is itself. So what's left over is going to be your 2 over x minus 2. I cannot cancel out these 2. All right. This 2 is with x. Yeah, it looks like a negative relationship, but they're together. All right. 2 is single by him or herself. All right. So we can't be trying to split people up. We're not home wreckers. Okay. So with that being said, our answer is C. AMS, how are you? Yes, let's not try to be homeworkers, people. All right. Okay, one more. Well, thank you, Tag. Appreciate it. Told you. I see that you told me. Told me a lot of things using 19. All right. So this one, I don't know. You can't really see all of it. So I'm going to have to shrink this bad boy. But let me tell you, we want to know which of the graphs satisfy this equation. Y equals negative x squared minus 6x plus 3. Okay? Just want you to be able to see the equation before I make it smaller. So y equals negative x squared minus 6x plus 3. Okay, so let me see if I can shrink it like a shrinky dink. Okay, which ones can we eliminate? Agnes, so where do I fit? Where do I fit in? All right. So my dot is saying A and B are out. Max is saying C and D. Olive is saying A and B. Tag is saying D. Ty, I have a new arc, saying B. Ty J is saying D. Just plugging in Desmos. I would love to say that that's an option, but if you're doing the GED, the ASVAB, and the AccuPlacer, you cannot use Desmos. You can't even use a calculator. So I like to say practice the way you play. Okay, I used to be a professional basketball player. So you practice the way you play. If you have a crappy practice, guess what? You're not going to be all that in the game. You might be able to have a few moments here and there, but coach sees every turnover. Every turnover. Doesn't care about how many shots you made. He remembers every turnover. All right, so we got CDs, we got Ds, we got A, B, C, Ds. Okay, someone's saying none of these, but you don't know how to work it. That's all right. That's why I'm here. I'm here to break it down. Now, let me show you. So if we recall, when you look at your equation, this leading coefficient is telling you how your graph is going to open. So if it's a positive number, if there's nothing there, it's going to open up like a cup. And if it's negative, it's going to open down like a frown. Okay. The x squared is going to tell you what shape we're going to draw. These U shapes are called parabolas. Okay, so that means we're looking at what's called a quadratic equation. So since it's negative, it should be opening down. So that's why A, not it, B, not it. So now we have either C or D. And the difference between C or D is how our vertex is shifted. Okay? Over here, the x value of my vertex is negative. Okay? Because here's my 0, 0. This is my x going left to right. This is negative. Okay? Over here, my x value is positive. Okay? Either one for C or D, both my y values are going to be positive. So that's not really going to help us. What's going to help us is for us to find the x value to see if it's going to be a negative number or a positive number. So how do we find the vertex? We're going to use this formula called x equals negative b over 2a. And if you're just like, I will never remember all these formulas. This is, if you can remember the quadratic formula, this is the beginning of the quadratic formula. Minus the plus or minus the square root, all that. Remember, it's over 2a. There's 2a. It starts with a negative b. There's your negative b. Okay? So you see, it's just like everything else. We can reuse stuff. So you're probably saying, well, what are we going to do for the b and the a? Well, that's what the formula is for. The a is what's in front of your x squared. So our a, in this case, is going to be a negative 1. And our b is what's in front of the x. So our b is a negative 6. So let's travel on down. We're going to substitute for the b. So we have negative 6. Okay, you're only replacing the b, not the original negative in front. Over 2 times a. My a is a negative 1. We're replacing the a with the negative 1. So negative times negative, that bad boy gives me a positive. And then 2 times negative 1, that gives me a negative 2. Ooh, okay. All right, let me finish this up so I can get to my next person. So now we got 6 divided by negative 2. That gives me a negative 3. All right. So my x value of my vertex is going to be negative. So that means my answer has to be C. Okay. So you're taking a little bit. Okay. Just did this in math class. Yes, Xavier, the axis of symmetry. Good. Yes. Not a problem, MC. How are you? It's been a minute. Yep, you already said C. Good. Good job. Okay, that's a lot. Believe it or not, that's not a lot. Wait until you go full-fledged, full rogue with math. No, just kidding. All right, haven't done this since high school. Hey, I know, it's been a minute. All right, so basically I have to get going. But this is what I generally like to do for you guys. I try to get on. I know tomorrow, if I do get on, it's going to be mad early during the day because it is crazy with tutoring. But this is what I do. If there were certain things like the factoring, we might need to review over it. Looking at the graphs, we might have to do over it. Finding the axis of symmetry. All of that, if you notice, you got your replays. This is where you go. This is where you sign up at, okay? And if you could subscribe, that will be wonderful. Then there's a playlist that says TikTok Lives. So you will see all of my TikTok Lives from February the 2nd till yesterday, okay? So I have a lot of the lives that I do like this, which is just general stuff when we go poking around. Or there are some lives that I really just emphasize one thing. So I might emphasize the 4-point questions in the GED. I might emphasize slope. I might emphasize factoring. I might emphasize the system of equations, system of inequalities, matrices work, some probability stuff. We did something on permutation and combinations, all that stuff. So if you want to do some review, you need some help, there you go. If you need a tutor, you're going to have to grab me ASAP because right now it looks like the only things I have open right now is on Sundays. But if you are interested and you really do need a tutor, hey, give me a try. Go ahead and just reach out, send me a message, and then I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, everyone. Are we getting started? We are shutting down, John. I know, I had to sneak on in here. Okay, so awesome. Thank you so much. So if you need anything, please do not hesitate to just message out. I'm doubtful that I'll be able to come on tomorrow, but we're going to shoot for Wednesday, if anything. All right, probably more so in the afternoon. Okay, guys, got to get going. Have an amazing night. Please be careful. All right. Don't take candy from strangers. All right. Don't do it. I don't care how sweet they are. Don't do it. All right. Take care. Bye now.